Hello everybody and welcome back to the Moshix mainframe channel. This is Moshix, and today we're going to be testing out a new version of VM370. As you know, one of the most complete versions of VM370. There's several versions for download, and of course there's also a couple of videos already by this time in the Moshix mainframe channel. But Robert O'Hara's 6-pack is probably the most complete. There's a 5-pack, before there was a 4-pack, 3-pack. I've worked probably with all of them. The 6-pack is by far the most complete, and the one that we have in the Moshix mainframe in the cloud is VM 6-pack 1.2. It's stable, it's extremely stable. I have it running already a couple of months in the cloud with about 20-30 users, and it's extremely stable. It only goes down when I want it to go down for backups. Now there's been several modifications and extensions to the 6-pack, because it's been out already, I think maybe a good 5-6 years already, and some of the enhancements that have been applied to the 6-pack are the use of 3270 full screen capabilities, so that we can have a full screen editor and the full screen file browser, as you've seen in many of my previous videos where we use the Moshix mainframe with VM370. Now there is, however, if you look for VM370 6-pack version and put 1.3, you will see that there's now a 6-pack 1.3 beta release, which was released this last summer in June, and that promises several updates which I think are important, specifically in the area of the RSCS, the remote spooling system of VM370, and why that is important we'll find out in a couple of videos later. But it is important, and so the node name is going to show at the bottom of the screen, which is also very important. And finally, it has the diagnosis 58 instruction built in, which is the diagnosis that enables a full screen handling of 3270 from CMS. Then it has an updated C compiler, which is always good to have, and several Fortran enhancements. And there's some other enhancements, and so the beta before that was the beta released, beta 2, released in March of this year, in 2018. And then we have the beta, which I don't know when it was released. So you can see that people are still working on it. And so I have just downloaded this here, and this new release, which I haven't tried yet, and put it here on my Windows computer. And we're going to unpack it, create maybe a new folder, 6-pack 1.3, and put all the contents here in there. Boom, that's done. So I guess we could move this away so it doesn't bother us so much. Okay, let's put it there. Now let's go look inside. It says here the README file will tell us more. So there's a README for the first release, which we don't know what it was. So let's go read that. You can see here files are actually assembled. Well, that's because we're copying it. Let's open it with a notepad. Okay. Well, there's quite a little bit of documentation here. So, no, that's not telling us much. That's not it. Let's open this one. So this update to the VM 6-pack includes several enhancements. Fixed lowercase file names for Unix scripts. Okay, that's important. Install briefing LDF and diagnosis. So that's the full screen support. Okay. This is important, change terminal definition so they auto negotiate for the size. Change 3270 so escape is escape as needed to int file. Change 6-pack command so the 32 sessions are started in separate window. Install the MacCaf tools, which is the full screen editor and the file list. Cleaned up the GCC disk, mini disk. Fix up help for the full screen editor. They also provide a sample 3270 emulator for Windows. Installed the updated GCC compiler, the WAT4 compiler, CP new features. So let's see what else is new here. Full CPU support for 33 DASD. Oh, this is kind of important because this would allow now this VM370 to run as a guest of VM ESA with the 370 support, of which there are some versions around. So this now, because VM ESA doesn't support anything older than 3380 disks. So now that we can run CP on 3380 disks, this makes it possible to run VM370 as a guest of certain versions of VM ESA. I don't have those versions, but still, it should be possible. Maybe some people do. Provides for a unique system or organization name adjacent to the running status via sysid, similar to the later versions of VM. Query user ID command, yeah, which is kind of important. I missed this feature because sometimes I want to know where I'm logged in. And terminal mode 5 support, shadow table bypass support for NVS 3.8. This is a performance enhancement for virtual real guest. Oh, I see. Yeah, so this should allow NVS 3.8 to run much faster. Alternate CPU nucleus support. Okay. Bug fixes. Fixing missing support for 38 storage controllers. Fix bug and okay. Several bugs fixed. Now CMS can also run on 3380. This is great. Much larger disks. So I think they're probably going to release a new version of Sixpack, which is only 3380 based, which would make sense because you can have fewer disks and you can have much more stuff on them. Especially like in my mainframe, VM370 mainframe in the cloud, I put all the user mini disks on one volume, and I'm already running out of space after like 30 users. And so now I would have to add, a new volume, which I can easily do. I mean, but having a 3380 allows me to put all users I will ever have on one volume. So this is important. So this is quite extensive. Now I don't know what else he fixed in, because he says he fixed some stuff in RSCS, which I'm most interested in. Let's open that. Now with DOS. Prex interpreter is integrated. CMS doesn't are alive and well. We have made a video about that, about vSAN. I don't see here anything. Yeah, I don't. Well, why don't we just run it and see what else we can find out? So it looks like extensive improvement of the Sixpack, which was already excellent to start with. So I'm just trying to find out if something I want to run for my VM370 mainframe in the cloud. So desktop Sixpack 1, 2, 3. Let's see here. Okay, maybe we'll have to adapt the settings here. Sixpack conf. Okay. Disable. Okay. Well, let's just try to run it. Hercules minus F Sixpack. Oops. What went wrong here? Oh, conf. Okay, so it's already running. So let's choose here localhost. And this is already running. So let's give this a try. Make this a little bigger for the viewers here. So let's named CP-CMS. Okay, so fs list works. So now we already have full screen file browsing. We see here Fortran, the Fortran listing. Let's go look at this. Yeah. So we know that the diagnose 58 instruction works because we have file browsing, full screen file browsing. This relates to vSAN. I don't see anything here that stands out. I don't know if you do. Okay. So then let's see Moshik's YouTube. Okay. So this is version of the full screen browser 1.2.5, which is the last version released by Hans in 2013. The author of the full screen editor, amazing editor by the way, very feature complete. So this works. You also have color support in the new version 1.2.5, so much better version. And then we have xlist, which allows you to select certain files and then apply CMS commands to them in batch, kind of, which is a very nice feature. Xlist, so you can see here, this is the command. Let's see fs list direct. Okay, so this is probably the one, judging from the date. Let's invoke it in the browser. Prefix left. Okay. So one of the things about the full screen editor here, EE, is that it doesn't, if the line is longer than 80 bytes, you can't just scroll to the right and left. It will actually wrap the line around to the next line. Just the way this works. We can also log in with a bigger monitor. I think this should work. So why don't we log out from here? Log off. And then connect. Yeah, so now we can do main Sixpack, CP-CMS. Okay. And now we can do fs list direct, and let's go look at this. Yeah, now it all fits in within the same screen. I want to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, this should be better now. Here's the user RCS, which is the one I'm particularly interested in, but I can't see what has been changed there, even though it mentions it in the notes. But, well, I don't know what else. We still have dial CP watch, of course. You can see it resizes the monitor because it's a different 3270 full screen handling than the one by CMS. So that's why the screen is resized, and everything looks fine here. The moment we get out of it, we get the full screen back again, so the full size. Log on main CP-CMS. Okay, so this seems to work. I don't know how stable it is, but it works. So fs list dmk. Okay, so this is the last kernel nucleus was generated on March 2018, and this is the devices. So if you need to know which devices you can connect, disks, etc., because in VM37 you still have to tell it on which devices to expect which addresses to expect what devices. In later versions such as VMESA and up, it auto-senses devices, which is something that I wish ZOS would also do, but it's still not quite there yet. So this is a new assemble of the new nucleus IO definition assembly, and here's the text which is used by the CP control program when it IPLs. Other than that, I think that this looks good. I see really just right now no reason to switch my VM370 for the Moshix mainframe in the cloud to Sixpack 1.3. Looks like maybe they're going to add some more stuff in 1.4 and then maybe release it, or maybe reset everything for 3380 DASD devices. So for now, I'm going to keep my mainframe in the cloud running with VM Sixpack, the one that was released 6 or 7 years ago. It's very, very stable. I'm interested mainly in the RSCS improvements, but I will have to ping the author here to tell us what it is that was done there. This line is really interesting to me, and you can see here Sixpack. This is the node ID that this refers to. In the version that I run in the Moshix, in the VM370 Moshix mainframe, we don't have the node ID, and it's quite significant change. So I can show you. This is my VM370 mainframe in the cloud. If I log in and then you'll see that there is no such node ID. Okay, so here you have, if I put it in running, you'll see here the exact same thing, but no node ID. And if you start to network VM370s together, which you can because of RSCS, because that's why it's such an important thing. If you have proper RSCS support, you can start to network VM370s together, not over Ethernet, even though of course Ethernet plays a part in it, but over dial-up lines and modems, which are then of course carried by TCP/IP connections. But from the point of view of VM370, it's going to be, or from the mainframe, it's going to be dial-up modems and dial-up or leased lines. And once you connect those systems, you can create a worldwide network. Just letting you think about this for a while, about the possibilities if we did that. So that's why knowing on which node you are is very, very important. So, but I mean, I have on the, if I use, let's say, this is on the VM370 Moshix mainframe. If I use Moshix YouTube, you will see that I have the version of the full screen editor that's the newest one as well, right? So if I put it here, put this one here as well, so I do Moshix YouTube, you'll see that I have the exact same version, because you can update the full screen editor without changing the underlying Sixpack version. And so we are already here on the mainframe on the latest version of those tools, and this is really what most CMS users care about. This is what they care about, and they don't really care about all these other underlying features, but I do, and so I'll keep a very keen eye on this VM Sixpack Beta features that are coming out, and whenever I see that there's a need to update the Moshix VM370 mainframe to the latest version of Sixpack, I will of course do so. I can also just retroactively apply some of these changes also to my mainframe, because we have the source for all that, so it should be easy to apply some of those changes here as well. But I just wanted to give it a run. I think if you start from scratch and if you're just downloading VM370 for the first time, I think it makes sense that you download this version here that we've been looking at, Sixpack, because you have the full screen tools already installed and it looks to run fine. If you do a lot of Fortran work, then also it may make sense to take the latest version. For me, it only makes sense because this line here. But since I don't know what it means, I don't see any reason right now to update. But of course, I welcome all the work that David Wade here is putting into it. And and I hope that this gets to a new six-pack release that especially maybe the 3380 disk support, so that everything is going to be on 3380, because then people can run it as a guest of VMESA. So that's it for today. If you have any questions about Sixpack, about all these versions, what all this stuff means, then of course post comments below this video. Always welcome, and I'm always eager to answer, or other people can answer, of course. If you like this particular video, please do press the thumbs up button, and see you soon back again in the world to the Moshix Mainframe channel. Thank you, goodbye.
Red lobster.
Put some bubbles on the octopus.
Pink dolphin.
Shark. Octopus. Orca. Some bubbles. Bubbles. Blowfish.
Green turtle.
We'll swim around. Let's put some bubbles on the
Blue stingray.
octopus.
Red crab.